Here we go, guys. It's Sunday, and finally, we have a new thing on here. That's my E17 podcast called Stay Now. And this is the pilot episode, and I have the really honor to have here the man behind so many great songs from E17. Here's Mike Rose. Hello, welcome.
Hello, Ollie. How you doing, man? You okay?
Yeah, weather in Germany is cold, but okay, and I'm feeling so far good. Yeah, thank you. And you?
Yeah, it's cold here. It's England, so it's always cold in the
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah, England is very cold. Yeah, I remember I was in a concert in London from the 70s and 90s, and it was in December. Gosh, really cold. Yeah, really cold. So, before we start talk about our favorite band, um, how it came that you became a producer? Was this your first wish to do in your life as a job, or have you not a job wish?
No, I wanted to make music since I was basically I watched a band called Soft Cell, and they released a record called Tainted Love, and I kind of come in and saw it on top of the pops, and thought I want to do that, and then life kind of changed from that point.
Hmm.
So I had a little synthesizer band, and then I ended up getting picked up by a studio in Liverpool. And then I just stuck with someone who gave the cassette to someone called Pete Waterman,
Yeah.
which was Stock Aitken and Waterman to you. And yeah, I played on records, did backing vocals with them. And then when they kind of went their own way, I went my own way, did a little publishing deal with Sony. And then I got a phone call from someone called Tom Watkins, who heard I was like the new kid on the block.
Yep.
And the first record he asked me to do was If You Ever.
Ah, yeah.
So they kind of had an idea of what they wanted to do. And yeah, I'd always made real pop records, as in like, not, this was kind of the first curve into like sort of R&B for me. I'd never done it before.
Okay.
So I ended up mixing the record as well because we didn't know anybody.
Hmm.
So it was literally the first toe went in and it was just huge everywhere. Still to this day, people always reference that record because it was my first hit as well.
Wow.
It's a special record for me.
Yeah, obviously, Gabriella was singing with E17 the song. Whose was the idea to bring Gabriella on this? Was Tom Watkins or was you idea?
No, it wasn't my idea. The original person who actually sang it, because Gabrielle didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. From what I believe is that I don't think Gabrielle thought that it was cool for her to do a record with E17 because she was like a credible artist and they were a pop band, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
So the original person who sang it was a girl called Dawn, who was in a band called West End.
West End,
Did
yeah,
a
yeah.
version of It's Raining Men or something in the UK. So she did the demo.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I believe is that they sent the record to Gabrielle, and she went like, "I've got to make this record because it was so good." So I remember being in the room with Tom Watkins and a guy called Tracy Bennett from London Records, and they were just going nuts.
Yeah.
So from then it was like, yeah, and then it moved very, very quickly from then on.
Mm-hmm.
But it was all new to me because I'd been working in the industry, but I was all of a sudden in the driving seat.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a big change, and it's really funny because people now still reference the record. So when they come to the studio, they see boards on the wall. They go, "You did E17." It's like they always go like that was like my favourite record. They made love for the first time. I first kissed at this record. Just as speaking, it has a whole other history, which is what it's all about. Music is like a little time machine. It takes you to different places, and it's lovely that it does that. It's lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. And music had so much power to touch people, to help people, to give light and hope. And for me, it was a matter of time that E17 made a collaboration with a female singer Take That had Lulu at the time, so it was a matter of time that Tom Watkins came with an idea and Gabriella, and
Well, the idea was Brian Harvey's. If you
Brian's.
It was absolutely 100% Brian's idea because there was two ideas on the table. One was to do Sherry Amore, Stevie Wonder or Sherry Amore, or If You Ever. So we ended up spending 5 or 6 hours recording Sherry Amore to get Brian to then sing If You Ever.
Yeah.
And it was funny really because we were only in a small studio at the time.
Yeah, and, small one.
Apparently Brian wasn't happy because it wasn't a big studio or anything, and we got a phone call saying he had some concerns. And then when he heard his finished vocal, he said it was the best vocal he'd ever had recorded ever. And you got to remember as well, they were working with different producers that dropped in with somebody they didn't know.
Yeah. Let me ask you, how was it for you to work with E17? I mean, in that time, Take That and E17 was on the front, numbers one. And how was it for you to realize, I have this boy band, they're so popular at the moment. How was it for you to work with them?
I always liked E17.
Yeah.
I like Take That as well, but E17 were kind of a rough and tumble. They were like, how can I say, council estates. I don't know what it would be called in Germany. Like real lads.
Yeah.
Would Take That looked very groomed and polished, but looking back on it now, E17 were just as I don't want to use the word manufactured, but they were styled and exactly the cap. Yeah, they were styled in a particular way to look a certain way.
Yeah.
But it was lovely, and I still speak to Terry this day. I still speak to Tony occasionally. I did see Brian for a while, but I haven't spoken to him. And I never really had a relationship with John. It just wasn't that way. But as a record producer, you're kind of a drive-through, like a McDonald's. So people come in and do that record, and they go to the next person. And sometimes they come back a few times, but then eventually they move on to someone else if they have new management that they want to work with guys that they know. So the nature of the beast. But for me, it was I remember playing football in the car park with them outside, and people are kind of looking over going, those are fellas from E17. Because it was just in an industrial state in the middle of East London. Nobody expected them to be there. Same when I did Gary Barlow as well. It was like,
that's interesting what you say. You worked with Gary Barlow on his first solo record, and he say later, it did well, but it felt for me like a own ground, really. That is what he say, a feedback later of his first record. He repeated it old self.
Yeah, I did Open Road for Gary, and I also did a duet with him and Rosie Gaines called "Hang On In There, Baby." It was, that I really enjoyed making. That was a good record, and also a track called "Arms." And what I loved about that record was I said to Gary, I want to put a key change in, and he would say, no, it won't work. It won't work. And it was Simon, Cowell, and Gary when I played the track, and they both turned around and hugged me.
Yeah.
And the key change came. It was like, yeah. But back to the E7 guys, it was like a privilege, that they were unique. They had a whole different energy to them, which made them unique. So, when people tried to copy this, they couldn't do it. The characters, personalities made up the band, so it wasn't like you could just slot any other person in to make it work. At that particular point as well, obviously Terry's going to reform the band and put different people in, but it works now. Back in the early days, I think people were so used to the format because it was so big.
Obviously, yeah.
It was like when Robbie left Take That, something just felt wrong.
Oh yeah.
Because people make up a chemistry, and that was suddenly gone. It didn't mean any of the guys weren't as talented or couldn't go on and do anything. It just meant that what people were used to, they weren't being given anymore, and it's just an adjustment. But it's lovely to. my wife's an old. My wife was a pop star in the '90s called Lolly.
Ah,
So we did, Mickey Gilman, all that kind of stuff. So occasionally they're doing the same gigs together. So it's always nice to bump into Terry and have a hug and a little chat. It's there's only love. It's just what it is. It's always love. Always.
But first, it's interesting. I like Gary Barlow's first record solo album, and I remember the promotion on this. He had a chat with Ray, and was on a TV, and Gary stand in the middle, and then stand here on a that's then sent. I remember Gary Barlow from takes it from mystery location, and I said, they say Ray, as Ray said. Then I remember you were a solo career. You already sold it, isn't it? Not quite. Be on a month or so yet. Time in the title. Can't tell you shit, Ray. Yeah, this was a song title for a solo song, Gary. No, it's called SM in Amsterdam. So I think, true. There was the promotion for his record. I remember this because we had in Germany, via satellite, we can reach MTV. So I remember on this, so, and that was
the thing with that the way that came around was, there was an A&R I was working with, and I think I can't remember the name of the band that I was doing, but he came to the studio to see me, and I said, "Are you okay?" And he was like, "No, it's a bit, the production's fallen through, and blah blah blah. It's not going to work." And I said, we were playing a game of pool together, and I said, let me make the record for you. And he went, "Oh, Mike, it's a big record, And I went, "Okay." And we're playing pool, and the black ball is in the top of the table, right in the. And I said, "If I pop this ball, you let me make the record, and you pay me. If I miss, then I'll make the record for free."
Okay. Wow.
Because for me, I wanted Gary Barlow, and I hit the ball and it went straight in.
Whoa.
So I got to make Open Road. That's really how it came around. It wasn't planned. It was just one of those beautiful timing situations that you can't plan for. It came from that.
When you produce with him this album, have you the feeling? He was down because he lost Take That? Have you the feeling he was down? No,
absolutely not.
Yeah.
When I worked with him, he wasn't down at all. He was very focused on his career and about the things that he wanted to do. So there was no downside to it. He was absolutely. I remember him coming to see us in the studio when we'd done Open Road because they'd done a version and it just wasn't working. And then I'd remade it, and they were all put real strings and things on it. So it made the record sophisticated.
Gary, at the press conference, you said you were all thinking about your solo career, but in fact, yours is already sorted. The album's finished, and the single is ready, isn't it?
Not quite. Be another month or so yet.
Well,
It'll be all finished.
When's the single released?
Single July, album August, I hope.
And what's the title of the single?
Can't tell you just yet, Ray.
It's not a very good title for a song, Gary.
No, but the album's called S&M Dungeon.
But he certainly wasn't down, just focusing on.
Not at all. Not sad about losing Take That.
No. From my experience working with him, absolutely not.
Wow, that's interesting because for me, when I saw Gary in the interviews, he worked like, I really said I lose this. That was my feeling at all.
No, I think all he done is gone. When people do interviews like that, they have to be very particular about the things that they say, because you can't turn around and go, "I'm really happy I'm not in the band. I want it to be about me." You can't say that because people love the band, so he'll have to be politically correct. Of course, they miss the guys, but this is what I'm doing. So my personal experience is that he was just very focused on his own career, and that was it. He didn't ever once mention them to me, ever.
Yeah, I understand. And when you record If You Ever from the 17, what is your greatest memory on when you record this song? What is your greatest memory on that day?
I think really it was everyone's face when they walked in the room. I don't think we'd realise what had happened. So people were sending different remixes that they'd done, and I'm in the middle of mixing the record, and they go, "We've got the first remix in," and they play it, and I'd sit there going, "Is this better than ours?" And everyone's gone, "No, it's not better." And literally everyone who heard it, I remember Tom Watkins like calling me at 2 o'clock in the morning, going, "Fucking hell."
Yeah.
This is a big record, and I'm going, "Oh no, I didn't even think about it." And then I just kept on hearing messages saying it was like it gone in at number 2 in like 17 countries or something.
Yeah.
It was just a big record. In fact, there's one thing about the mix that I hate, and if you listen to the record, when I was at the final stages, in the middle 8 when there's a breakdown, because it's the guitar that goes dun 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 dun, and I panned it to right. So it goes dun dun dun, and I hate it. And to this day, I still hate it. But it's on no one in the universe but me would even know. But it's something I wish I hadn't done. Not that it would have made any difference. It's just a personal.
Yeah. You have made another one for them, Hey Child. That is one record you did, and this was before they split it up. You know, that what in the year before they made the split, or I mean, Brian is out from the band. One of the last record they do in the 90s, Hey Child. And how was this for you to make this record? Because the times are very hard, and the band has so many on press and stuff. You know, how was it for you to make this record?
There's definitely a dynamic change, and it was also the first time Tony had actually taken the lead vocally a record, and because I remember Tony coming in and we were discussing it, so it was like, I've got this idea, and I said, well, why don't we make it about your child? You know, why don't we come from this? And then so we sat down and wrote the song together, and then I wanted to put a gospel choir on it, and I faked lots of gospel choirs on records. But we were going to school as well to record this, so it kind of fitted in with the whole thing. And I think for Tony it was a nice thing because it was a very gentle record. And obviously Brian sung some lines at the end of it, but I did have the feeling at this point that there was a change in the dynamic of it. But you know, I didn't know the boys well enough. You know, the intricacies of people being together is very different from what you see. So, you know, there's a representative front of how you have to behave. And, you know, I suppose if you're arguing with your partner and you're calling each other all the time in the sun and somebody walks in the room, don't continue.
Wow.
You're civil.
Yeah.
And then when the doors close again, you go back to where you are. So I think... I mean, it's only me making a guess, and it's a wild guess because I wasn't there. I don't know. I just, you know, I'm thankful for a relationship with Terry. There was a recent situation with PL. I was having a few problems, and he couldn't have helped me more. And I do speak to Tony every now and again, so I don't know their personal relationships, and I never ask. I'm just happy to be able to have a chat to each other now, because again, it was my first hit record, so I've got a lot of love for them. You know, it's a big deal for me. Yeah,
and have you the feeling when you made the record for Hey Child that, they split it maybe up after that?
Well, like I said, there was a change in the dynamic, but I don't. You're left in, you know, all my job is to make the record as good as I can possibly make it. And sometimes it goes past expectations of what you expected, and other times you don't quite hit, or the people aren't feeling. You just can't second guess it. You can only do what you can do at that particular moment in time. But it was a nice record, and it was nice to see Tony doing lead vocals. I remember getting a phone call from Tom saying he was really pleased that Tony had taken that role. You know, so it was nice. But you know, we're recording Brian as well. It was good because Brian's very underrated.
Brian's voice is brilliant, genius. Yeah. Oh my God, he's
definitely underrated. My only thing with Brian when we recorded was discipline to finish notes and not carry them on and stay within the structure rather than riffing because he's got the ability to do it.
Mm.
But sometimes it's just less is more. As from a producer's perspective, that was probably more of a battle to be able to get what was needed rather than it going over the top. Because when people do so many riffs, you can't sing along.
Yeah. And
and everybody wants to sing along.
Yeah. But Brian was very professional in the days. Yeah, I have that feeling too. And how was it for you when you heard the band split it up? How was it feeling? What was your first feeling about it?
I was in a restaurant.
Oh, really?
I was in a restaurant. And it was just like, what? It's kind of, oh no. And I remember my friend looking at me, and then the waiter came over and he said, "Is everything okay, sir?" And I went, "Yeah." And he went, "My friend just went, yeah, he's just pissed off because he's 17 and just broken up."
Oh.
Because if you think about it, I just made this mark in the music industry as a record producer.
Yeah.
And that band then were no longer there. It still went on, I ended up putting S Club 7 together and lots of other records after that. I had 29 top 30 records as a producer.
Yeah.
So it didn't stop me, but it was the yeah, I liked them. I liked doing the record, so it would have been lovely if it continued. But again, I'm not privy to what conversations the guys would have had.
Yeah.
Any relationship's complicated if you look into it. Nothing's ever easy. And also, you got to remember those guys were together like 24/7.
Yeah.
For a long period of time. It's very difficult to spend that amount of time with somebody and not get pissed off sometimes.
Yeah, they were very younger, and now they are old. They are really old.
But
yeah.
If they're asked to do it, they probably I can't bother with them. You get to a certain age and you just go. Your circle of friends becomes much smaller. You don't want to deal with the hypocrisy of people because you've heard it all before.
Yeah.
And most people now, when you get to a certain age, all you want to do is. I'm still lucky. I've got a studio in the back garden. I'm still making records.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody from my period. There might be one or two people left who are still in a position, but they can, still make music.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But it was one of your first work, and then you hear the band was split it off. I can feel for you the sad moment. Say, oh, I'm working with them so well and so good, and then they split it up. So I understand when you feel, oh, that's sad. I'm sure. Yeah, but I'm sure you worked more records with them when they have existed in this time. I'm sure them you would more.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have, because we developed nice relationships. Like I say, at one point I was going to Brian's house and helping him set up his system and putting Logic in for him, and he had some friends who I was working on this particular artist, and Brian did backing vocals with me, and we had this guy who was a plasterer, but he was a really good rapper who did a song with us. So but then that faded out because I moved away from London. I came to a place called Lichfield, just outside Birmingham. So we lost contact, but it was a really high time.
Yeah. The press, the media.
Every shop near your record being played. Wherever I went.
Yeah.
The record being played.
Yeah, but in that time, the press, the media, all eyes on E17 on Take That, so, and that, was the time back then, that is today would be different, but in that time, about really the high topics, hot topics ever, when Take That have a problem or E17 have a problem at all, about all the press and media, and today would be the social media, in magazines too, and so many stuff, because
it'd be very different. And also the mental health of people these days as well, where people are attacked. It's not just in a newspaper anymore.
Yeah.
Like you say, it's all over social media. So these people can't. There's no way to escape unless you ignore it. And I think sometimes someone would turn around and say, did you hear what somebody said about you? And you want to go, what did they say? And then it takes you down this route where really it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Before I came to my last two questions, for me, is so you made a so great job. You would work with Terry and the guys and made a new song for E17, maybe a new version from If You Ever or so. Talk to him. We'll do it.
Not yesterday, the day before, I got a message from Terry saying they wanted to make a record in this particular style. And literally, I spoke to him the night before I'd heard from you.
Yeah.
And so me and Terry are going to have a chat tomorrow. So the possibility, again, it was making a record is on the table as we speak. So
that would be so cool. Why they deserve to be and to produce new music for them. There's E17, they free, and that is all. And I don't understand many people not accept it. But for me, I was very thankful for every formation in 17 over the years. Original, 3, 4, whatever. I'm really thankful that because they exist still in this world. And that's just the point I was thankful,
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
I do think, like I said to you before, though, they buy into the chemistry of what something is, and it's very difficult for them to.
Yeah.
It'd be like going to McDonald's and them now serving fish, not burgers.
That's
be like, hold on, I'm used to this. It's not that anymore, and people find rather than go, actually, it's really good.
Yeah, I say that to Robbie in person when you sing "Stay Another Day," and in the last few seconds, one more time you say on the stage. For example, I like that one. Or when he started to sing "Stay Another Day," I love his way to singing. Everybody on House of Love, and before he's singing, everybody was just acoustic, and then ready, sir. It's perfect. I love it. It is for me really the energy, the power to feel that song. Of course, the original lineup is for me here in my heart, and I have so many great times with them. But I understand this time is over. It's over, and they never come back. That is so.
It's a long time ago, but it's still relevant to people because when people go to listen to the E17 records, it reminds them of a time when life was less complicated. Even though at the time it probably felt complicated, but people now have children, they're married, they've been divorced, they're separated, or they're happily ever after. Whatever is their circumstances have changed. But when they, like I said to you before, music is like a time machine, and they get taken back to a place when it was just.
And it is a time machine, Mike. It is a time machine. Really, when I hear E17 House of Love from the 90s, I'm back to my first concert that I ever saw from them. And I tell you this before.
That will never ever go. That's always with you forever. So I see with my wife that when people sing along to her records, people come over to her and it's like, oh my God, I first heard your record. I used to dance in the bedroom with pom-poms. All these things.
Yeah.
The most beautiful moment about it as a record producer, which I didn't really understand until probably later on, is that just for me as Soft Cell or Depeche Mode, they're like the soundtrack of my life, and particular songs mean something to me. So when people talk to me about a record I've made, you can see the whole story.
Yeah, whole story. Yeah.
Then that is a really beautiful thing because it means you've just become part of their history. And even though they don't know who you are, it's a lovely thing to think that they have these beautiful memories.
I told you this on Instagram. 1991, they sent a demo here on a German radio station from It's Alright, and we heard it on a breakfast table of my foster mother, and I was fascinating, and I said to my foster mother, "Who is this? Who's singing that?" And she say, "I don't know, but we'll find out." And then later she came with the info, and it's E17, and no problem. You from there, my little one? Yeah, I'm from there, and it was my destiny to become a great E17 fan, and Robbie said the biggest, and you can read the number one in the world. But I really remember, before I came to the last question, I will tell you this in person. I remember the girls. They saw me with all these 17 stuff, and I remember the girls say, "What? You an E17 fan? You like them? Yeah, why not? It's my roots." And they touched me on a higher level. And that girls not understand why I'm a boy band fan. They not understand it. Yeah, but I never forget that. But it was a precious memory. And then I see them again, and then I believe after the second or third concert from E17, yeah, they put me in and let me, be part of it. I was so proud of it at the point.
What is personal? Your love and your passions are all personal to each and every one of us.
Yeah.
There are going to be people who love your records and people who hate. It's just what happens. Some people, it is the soundtrack to their lives, and you might even meet that person and they'll go, "That record, I hated it."
Yeah.
But you can't say that to people. You can go, "Thank you." You can't go, "God, I hated every second of that," or "Such and such was not a nice person." You can't say any of these things. You just got to go, "Oh, thanks, I'm glad you like it." Because as a producer, I don't walk around going, "Hey, look what I've done." Normally, people find out, or if I'm friends with them, they'll go, "I just picked up an old record that someone's called the same name as you." It's like,
Yeah,
that is.
yeah.
Kids don't do that. I only have awards on my studio wall so people know what I've done.
Yeah.
Because you can't. It's not possible now. You just download a record. No one cares what studio it was in. Who sang on it, who played on it. They don't care. It's very different.
Yeah, I want to show you something before.
Oh wow!
Yeah, there was a copy from the 90s, and it's really genius, And here's all my autograph stuff in it. So we'll look into what was the 90s? Just a moment. Here. There was the time when they was a free on the way, Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. There was so many things on that.
Yeah, and as the years have gone on as well, you see someone like Terry, who just is one of the nicest guys you could ever meet.
Yeah.
Also one of the hardest working people.
Absolutely.
So, so whatever E17 would have been, Terry's certainly a heartbeat. He's definitely that machine that keeps everything going.
Yeah.
So you can only respect him for that, and he's just a lovely fella. He just is. It's always lovely to see him.
Yeah, he keep the band alive with all what he have. 100% he give all the band still exist, and it is really so. And for the last, I can tell you my memories on the comeback, 2006. Here in Germany, I read on a magazine, and I say, all four came back, and they made a tour together for 4 years to the until 2010, and I was 2009 in Germany, were there, and in London too, and I tell you this yesterday, I have great experience with the band, and still I have it, so that's really,
it's
really
lovely. I'm so glad it's part of your life and your history, and you're enjoying it, and you're enjoying it up until this day. It's a really beautiful thing. It is.
Oh, thank you. I wish you a great winter and have a great celebration on Christmas. And I'm sure we speak each other in the time. So thank you and have a great day so far.
You too. Look after yourself. Take care, man. God bless.
God bless you too, man.
Bye.
Bye.